Hey everybody, Mark with Cardivox Academy here, and our setting's a little different today. And the reason for that is because Thursdays are usually Kardashev stuff. This is Nico, the guitarist. Say hi.
Hello.
And but I wanted to get the video out tomorrow, so we're filming it today in Casa de Chev.
Yeah, we normally have band practice, but here we are. We're going to be doing this video tonight, and what's the subject?
So the poll, let me talk about this real quick. I'll keep the announcement short. One thing I'm doing, because I'm getting a lot of comments, which thank you all for being so engaged in the content. I really appreciate that.
Super cool.
Yeah, really fun. But with so many YouTube comments, I'm having a hard time really keeping good track of what's getting talked about the most. So I created a Facebook community page, which I will throw down in the description of this video, and that's where I'm going to put up a poll every week. For the videos that you want to see. Now, I'm not going to completely exclude the YouTube comments because I don't think that not everybody uses YouTube, Facebook, and I don't want you to have to feel like you have to get a Facebook to have your say. But the poll is going to be the primary thing. Also, I didn't put it. I thought about doing a Patreon, but I didn't want to put that sort of thing behind a paywall. So we're all just hanging out. We're all just having a good time. Also, recently hit 10,000 subscribers, which thank you all for that. I'm going to make a separate video talking about the things we're going to do to celebrate 10,000 subs. I'm not going to get too much into that here. I'll probably put that out early next week, just talking about some of the stuff I'm going to do. But today, the winning video was Global Warming by Gojira. We're going to be talking about Joe Duplantier and his cool style. One disclaimer, his vocal style, you record me a lot. Pretty different from what I do.
Yeah, we've tried to approach that vocal style a couple times just to like layer it in with our music, but
yeah,
it's pretty different.
Yeah, we've done it before. We have it in a song we're working on. So this is slightly out of my wheelhouse. So if you've got any ideas, of course, feel free to throw them in the comments. I'm going to approach this through my kind of false chordy lens. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about it, and I'm sure you'll interject with some rhythm and composition stuff, because actually this guy is like almost 100% of Kardashev's composition.
Well, thank you very much.
I just show up later and yell. Anyways.
Just yells, that's it.
All right, so let's get started. Let's get this video going. As always, I picked a fun screen for y'all, so here we go.
Oh, also, if we look a little goofy, it's because we have a monitor above the camera, so we're gonna look like this probably a lot of the time. Just a heads up.
Yeah, like we're in the front row of
a movie theater.
Yeah, here we go. All right, and thank you. I remember last video I asked for a cool live session from you guys and gals, so this is neat. Thank you very much. Oh, and just for anybody who's curious, even though I have listened to Gojira, this is a relatively new list. I think I heard this in passing a while ago, but this is the first time I've really dug into it, so take that as you will. Here we go. Cheers.
Indeed.
Just bump it. There we go.
Hammy Joe's.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say real quick is that this video is like we're gonna get into the singing and vocals, of course, but this video is like gorgeous. Everything is either black, brown, gray, or gold. The lighting is beautiful, and like honestly, like these kind of casual jam sessions, like I'll take this over like some girl running scared through the forest away from like wolves and people in black cloaks any day.
Yeah, this is cool because it feels more intimate. It's not a forced narrative on whatever they're trying to convey. It's just like, yo, we're jamming, and yes, we have a message, but we're jamming.
We're hanging, and like this is exactly the type of video I wanted. So again, thank you all for your suggestions. We're probably gonna get to some singing soon here. There it is. Okay, so one thing I want to point out, interesting, there's like no vibrato going on. Which I guess I shouldn't say that's so interesting, because you hear vibrato a lot less in like these types of metal. Also, I won't say he's nasal, but he's definitely, I did pull up the lyrics for this song so I can know what the heck I'm talking about, but he's 400,000 years ago, they came from outer space. I talked to a lot of my students about your hard palate. I talked to you guys about your hard palate, and this is a lot of aiming at that space of the hard palate, and that's kind of how he's got that bright sound. 400,000 years ago. Nico, you've suffered through me like being nitpicky about my takes.
Yeah. We've done more than one take in some sections of the songs, you know, where you have to get one or two.
Only like two. Now, one thing about Joe here, you know, I kind of feel a little weird saying this because this dude's a fucking monster and extremely accomplished, but he's doing a lot of like
with his shoulders.
Yeah, and like when he went into that scream there, the thing about with this style, right, is that you're building on a yell, right? You're building on a yell. So, yay, God is so right. And so when you're doing that, you really want to have as much strength down here as possible and as much relaxation up top, because you want to do as little work down here and as much work up down here. So I'm a little surprised to see that, I'll be honest. But let's pick it back up. Yeah, see? I'm really surprised. Might be because that's like guitar. Maybe. Now, what you're probably going to hear there is that, so at the beginning we had what almost sounds like a 50-50% balance between voice or phonation. That's this sound, phonation right there, and grit, which is yeah. Right now he's not doing false chords, of course, but it was I think the lyrics were, well, I'll just say smoke all around, smoke all around, right? And then just recently he like changed the ratio a little bit more grit. Yeah, oh, yes, I will. A lot of that comes from opening up your mouth more. That's what I see him doing. I'm kind of having to figure a little bit of this out as he goes. And it's going to be closer to singing as well, because he is changing his actual pitch with his vocal. Let's listen more and see what we can figure out. Yeah, did you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Get out of here. That became like almost all yell, and it did look a little strange to me. Like, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but it did look a little strained.
What looked strange about it?
Not strange, strained.
Strained.
Yeah, like one thing that people will do is when they have like a really powerful section, they'll feel like they have to like dominate it somehow. So like you can see him kind of like, now one thing to keep in mind is he might just be like emotionally really into it. That's probably what it is. But this is a good note for anybody who performs. If you feel like your really powerful screams, you have to like dominate them. Like a lot. Sometimes if you're like a belter, that means like reaching up for your high, or if you're going for your low, like arching over it. He kind of like, it's gonna sound weird, but he kind of like mounts his yell.
How he like kind of stands tall over
yeah,
the mic.
Yeah, and it looks like there was some strain in his neck too. I mean, it sounded sick as hell. It sounded cool. Get out! Oh, I'm peeking out this mic. I'm sorry. On every side of the road, get out of here! It sounded cool, but a little strained. Yeah, interesting. Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's dope.
Gotta have this great.
Now, oh, I meant to pause it right there. Look at this guy. Now, one thing he's doing that's really cool, and like I harp on this all the time, but you know, we really want to open our mouths a lot, not exaggerated, right? Not like straining our jaw, but we want to open our mouths because it's like those old record players, gramophones or phonographs. Phonographs. Thank you. That openness is gonna project things. You know, a lot of time when I get brand new students in, you know, I usually have you sing before you scream, just to kind of learn where you're at, and I get a lot of this. All around me are familiar faces, worn out place, and I think it's predominantly just a case of the shies. I get a little shy too. Who cares? But like the open mouth, especially when you need these sounds to be big. When you need these sounds to be big. Yeah. Yay! Let's just lean away from that mic.
It's all right.
Way! Right there! It's really pretty effortless, and like actually you can see more of me than in any other video. So if you're watching, check this out. So I'm gonna do a yell, you know, and it's a little out of my wheelhouse again, so it might not sound as perfectly amazing as his, but you're gonna see a lot of neutral positioning here, and the breathing in with the diaphragm down below in the ribs and the stomach. So, yay! Why easy, not too hard.
I can see it right around here.
Thank you. All right, let's get through some more content because that riff. That was
sick.
I really enjoyed that.
I like the phonation on the screen.
Yeah, he's got kind of like a little bit of a wail at the end. Hi. Yeah, it's cool. See how? Yeah, you saw it. So you see how he pulled that E kind of up and tight. So with these screams or with these yells, they're really more yells than they're screams.
Yeah.
The first thing you want to do, and in fact, if you're really into like this kind of vocal, the first thing you want to do before you do anything is you want to learn to just be able to get into like a sort of shout or yell position, but without using your throat. So what you can do is you can, you know, and I've mentioned this in my other videos, you can, using your diaphragm, just kind of say, hey, 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 and make sure your throat isn't tensing up. Hey, 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 hey. And once you can do that really well, then you can start working on putting distortion up top, because just like with false chord or with fry, you want to feel that distortion up here. And this is a guess, but sometimes when I'm recording, or, you know, back when we were performing more, and I was live, you know, I couldn't say, hey, crowd, hold on, I got to stop here and just recalibrate my distortion. Give me a second. So the next E or I vowel that was coming up, I would kind of pull it tight to sort of really narrow the airflow, compress the airflow, and feel that distortion as high up as possible. So, again, this guy's just probably super into it, and I'm doubting he was thinking that exactly, but it just kind of gave me that thought. That I've done that in the past. Yeah.
So I'm completely uneducated in this regard, but it's
really okay. I don't know anything about guitars.
But on that last note that he like holds on there, I have to back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
He has this weird like distortion that reminds me, and forgive me, I'm super ignorant to this stuff. Reminds me of like how Louis Armstrong would sing. Like pull it back a little bit and listen to the way that he just adds like that rumbly like.
Yeah, so that sound, we don't want that.
Well, I mean, I can't do this, but that's what it made me think of.
Let's go here.
There.
Okay, yeah. So
I don't know what that is, but that's what it made me think of.
So it definitely isn't that. So that Louis Armstrong song, I see skies
That,
of blue
that's it.
and clouds of white. So it's really hard to not do that really low on top of your vocal folds. So usually when I'm teaching people false chords, that's where they start. Probably the reason that it sounded like that to you is because E or an I position is what we use in false chords for pig squeals, because it gives kind of a that thick yet bright sound. And so when you pull that, maybe that's what sounded there. But yeah, his distortion definitely didn't fall back. One trick that you can, this is not foolproof, but one trick is that, so listen to my distortion up high and then listen to the distortion down low and compare like the frequency of the rattle. So how fast it sounds like things are clicking. Okay. Right? That's a term you hear a lot on like Reddit and Discord and stuff, a rattle. So resonance up high, down here, way. See how it's a lot slower down there?
Yeah.
It's like dot 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 versus.
Yeah.
That's one way you can tell whether or not the resonance has fallen back.
Interesting.
Yeah. So something to think about as well if you're monitoring yourself at home. Let's listen to more. Me gusta.
The me gusta face.
The me gusta face. Love it. Oh, here it is again. I hear like a guttural. Like a really cheeky guttural. Like, that's what I hear. No, never mind. It's good that they don't have that. Dude, all right, so here's a question for you.
Oh, okay.
We got a little guitar aside. So that riff, tell me if I'm an idiot, is like that whole section is like super simple. Yet it's so powerful and so driving and so entertaining and engaging, whereas other bands, when they play super simply, you're like, where did the song go?
So that's an interesting thing you point out, because when I'm like listening to this and I think of it from like a rhythm standpoint, a composition standpoint, they're going from really thin sounds of the tapping, right? There's no chugs, right? They're just tapping in this whole section where he gets to do his like verse essentially. And his brother on the drum set, he's just doing really light hi-hat work. But when they move into that bridge or chorus or whatever they call it, he's going hard on the cymbals and the riffs are now chugging and moving low. So the back and forth, it really like facilitates an opportunity for him to come through crisp in his singing or yelling or whatever. And then when those riffs come in and he drops out from his vocals, you get to really focus on just the power of the rhythm section. But I liked your idea, like putting like a low guttural, because typically in deathcore we're like, oh, it's the breakdown, it's time to get lower. Yeah. But in this case here, they're allowing you to just feel the breath between his moments.
You know, no, you make a good point. I haven't even thought about that, but it's really high, really light, and then when the heavy thickness, well, that's not, never mind. But when that comes in, it's really, so it's they work off the contrast.
Yeah, so if you back it up a little, I don't know how far you want to go, but if you back it up just enough.
Back here, 3:58, 4 minutes.
Okay, right.
There you go.
4. No, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I would even argue that he's in a lower pitch.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Okay, it's full.
Thins out.
Now listen to the just hi-hat work.
Oh, yeah.
Super, letting the guitars breathe.
Yeah.
Joe takes a break.
That's a nice bass tone. Kind of crunchy.
It's got some big grit on it. Bass gets to leave this section a little.
How hard is that? Because like I'm watching him do
Oh, I'm
like
on the level with you.
nonstop.
Like tapping the way that they're doing. I wouldn't say
I wouldn't be able to hold that like consistency or that pattern for probably more than like 10 seconds.
Well, that's the thing too, is that besides Joe, the other guitar player whose name I don't know, I'm sorry, I do apologize. The other guitar player, he's got one job, right? Tap and chug. That's his like do your thing. But Joe is singing while keeping that tapping rhythm.
Yeah, that
And like,
forget it.
I have no idea how he does it. But one thing that's really cool about this like case study of Gojira and the way that you kind of mentioned the way he uses his shoulders and he gets over the mic is that he has a guitar sitting on this entire piece of his body that he's, in your case, really should be depending on more diaphragm work versus like shoulder and like.
Yeah,
But it's also a live setting. I don't know. There's a lot to argue. But
weight's
I would
on the
say
strap
that
though.
it would be interesting to compare him to other vocalists who also have a singing style or like a style that requires endurance in that way. Something to think about, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Let's keep going.
Okay. Really low note to start that. Like the whole octave.
Yeah, that's ominous. You know what I just noticed too?
What?
Did you notice the bass line? The bass line when I was
baseline
like,
before this?
yeah, the bass line when I was like, oh, I like that bass tone.
Yeah, I think it's a very similar melody, it sounds like.
I think it's the same melody. I think the bass foreshadows the singing.
I didn't even catch that.
You tell me if I'm right.
I mean, I believe you probably are right if you caught that.
We'll see.
Yeah, right. It's just the genius of Gojira. Are they doing it together?
Yeah.
That's how old we are.
Yeah.
We'll see our children growing.
This is a very intimate singing style compared to the rest of the song.
Yeah, I was actually just about to point that out. So, at the beginning, 400,000 years ago, they came from outer space. Right? He's brighter, he's a little higher, and now, like you pointed out,
Thank you. Yeah.
plap. Now, like you pointed out, he's starting, we will see our children growing. And he's got a little less chord closure. So it has a, we will see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exaggerating right now. So you can hear it. We will see our children growing. So it is kind of intimate and gentle.
It's less like of a proclamation and more of like a mantra maybe, or it's more like I don't know, it's to the self, almost like you're outwardly reminding yourself of something. I don't know, it's a very interesting style.
That was really poetic. All I was thinking is that it just makes me think that Gojira is going to bring the stank pretty soon here. They're going to bring that nasty
Yeah,
good.
they're gonna go hard and Joe's gonna do a brie. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
It's not going to bring. He's starting to move a little bit more. I'm telling you. They're going to bring it. They're going to bring it. Bang.
It's kind of getting distorted.
Yeah. I think he's doing that on purpose. These screenshots are gold, man.
Great.
I love, but as much as we laugh, like I love it when the band looks intense and you can tell that they love what they're doing.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, speaking to that, kind of like that. I don't remember the word you used, but how he sounds a little like he doesn't have control over his singing. Sometimes, and I do that in some of our new stuff. Sometimes you do that on purpose to kind of build tension. We will see our children growing. Like you purposefully. That's the thing. It's metal, man. We don't have to sing perfect all the time. We just have to sing safely all the time.
You're so right.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of them actually think that better be safe today. Got tour for the rest of the year.
Well, I've seen other live Gojira videos, and he's awesome.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
So I think that this video, we all sometimes lose track of our breathing every once in a while. I still think this guy's a 10 out of 10 frickin' vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So this is a perfect example of why, like I said before, if you're going to try this stuff, you really need to make sure you can just belt normally. And belting's a really easy thing. I've worked with some of my students on it in the past. I don't have as many singing students as I used to. It's mostly screaming now, which is fine. Of course, I love screaming. But, you know, the belting, hey, why will say our children growing, like that is like super, hey, really relaxed up top. Like when I do that, my neck is all squishy.
I could just see myself trying to do that, and I would turn red, and my neck would get real thick and like veiny, and I'd be like, ah. Maybe I should get some pointers from you.
Nah.
Why, man? Maybe I'll sing on the next album.
No,
I don't want to.
You sang in Between Sea and Sky?
Let's move on.
All right. And like right there, I mean, you see a little bit here, but okay, it's blurry, but it doesn't look like he's got a lot of neck tension here. Maybe a little bit going on right here, but that could be from the chest moving up and down. But overall, like I'd bet if I was in the studio touching this guy's neck while he did vocals, they'd call the cops. But before they called the cops, I would notice like, yeah, a lot of relaxation going on there. Whoa.
And the discordance happens again. I don't know if that's intentional or if they're just into it and not worried about it.
I think it is.
Oh, and now it's just the right hand. The left hand's not doing anything.
Children growing.
Oh, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, that was sick as hell.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Dude, can you imagine being
Badass.
in like a huge live venue and the song has just been punching you in the face, and then you have that outro and like the whole place is like dead quiet except for that.
Yeah.
That's what it was, right?
Yeah, you got it right. But yeah, that would be phenomenal, especially because one of those things that I like to fantasize about is like if that were to happen, the crowd doesn't make a sound. I mean, like you'd expect cheers, but they hear that very just delicate tapping, and they're all just like in it for just that next 10 seconds. They're just in it.
That'd be cool. Well, cool suggestion.
Yeah,
I think the use of the poll for people to vote was pretty successful. Joe Duplantier, awesome vocalist. Really, the only thing I noticed was the breathing. But like I said, I've seen a lot of other live videos of him where I didn't catch him doing that. So this might have just been an off day or whatever. He still sounded amazing. But yeah, like one thing I really want to stress, you know, in the metal vocal world, a lot of people think that there's only false chord and there's only vocal fry. And like while those are two of the like big sections, the big types, like there are things that are in between, and this is sort of in between. Personally, I think that this would probably be a lot easier for people who did vocal fry versus false chord, because vocal fry involves the chords being closed. So that's just, you know, that's what I suspect. As a false chord guy, that's part of the reason why I'm like, this is a little bit different. But yeah, if you're at home, again, I can't jump through the internet and make sure you're doing this safely. But if you're at home, before you try this sort of stuff, like, don't think that you're just gonna get to the microphone and yell as hard as you can, and then there you are. You might actually get a similar sound to that. That's the thing. You might be like, oh, I just yelled my heart out and I sounded like Joe Duplantier of Gojira. And well, while you might have, you're going to hurt yourself. So really, make sure you've got your diaphragmatic breathing down. Make sure that you can, hey, 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 hey. You can control your breath with that. And then after that, once you've got, that, yeah, ah, once you can do that, then you can put you can put that grit on top of it safely.
That's a lot of science behind what this guy is probably just like, I'm good at yelling, let's yell.
It's not science, it's all magic. I wish I had glitter.
We can put it in post.
All right, guys, we'll stop this mess. Again, thanks for hanging out, Nico. This video was a little bit less formal and less casual, but I think it was a lot of fun. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Again, link to the community page in the description. Get on there, vote. A lot of cool discussions going on about vocals. Share. Also, like, it's totally a place where you can boast. Upload a video of you being a badass, and we'll be all like, bro, you're a badass.
Do that thing.
Do that thing. All right, cool. Many thanks. Much love.
Make sure to wash your underwear.
Jesus Christ.